Dong Kingman and William Saroyan. A recent visit to San Francisco's Museum of Modern Art, SF MoMA for brevity's sake, I came across 4 paintings by legendary Bay Area artist Dong Kingman. These works, watercolors that show images of 1930s and early 40s San Francisco, are wonderful pieces of Kingman's legendary watercolor output. They are incredibly vibrant, full of life and light, that feel as fresh today as they did when they were first shown at shows in San Francisco, Oakland, and then further afield. Like Saroyan, Dong Kingman was born to immigrant parents. The name given to him at his March 31st, 1911 birth was Dong Moi Shu. His family traveled back to Hong Kong in 1916, where he began his formal education. He was only 5.5 and was already aspiring to become an artist. A long-standing Chinese custom was the giving of school names, where a student is given a new name that they are known as within the school. For Dong, the name he was given, Kingman, meant composition or scenery in Cantonese. It was an apt name for the young boy. In the late 1920s, he returned to the United States, where he attended the Fox Morgan Art School in Oakland, California, while doing a variety of jobs to pay the rent. The 18-year-old decided it was time to start focusing on one style of art, watercolor. As the nation entered the Depression, he was beginning to get recognition from San Francisco art mavens. He took home the first purchase prize from the Art Association Watercolor Show in November 1936, a significant prize for an artist still establishing himself. It was March 1937 that saw him receive his first national attention. The San Francisco Art Association held a solo exhibit of many of Kingman's works. Few Chinese-American artists had been given such an exposition by a major arts organization, so this was an incredible honor. The show was well received, with Kingman making significant sales and gaining commissions from the show. Kingman had been working with the Federal Art Project and was included in significant shows, including a large show at the De Young Museum in San Francisco. This show included another artist with a long association with William Saroyan, Hilaire Heiler. Kingman received the Guggenheim Fellowship twice during World War II, and after the war settled in Brooklyn. During that period, he was one of America's best-known watercolorists, but he would leave New York to work in Hollywood designing backgrounds for films like The Flower Drum Song and The Sand Pebbles. He was also a part of the famous Artists' School, a correspondence art course with Norman Rockwell among its faculty. In 1958, a book of Kingman's work was published, officially titled The Watercolors of Dong Kingman and How the Artist Works, though usually simply referred to as Dong Kingman. The book was a significant look at Kingman's work, not only from the 1950s, but throughout the 40s and a few pieces from the 1930s. The majority of the book is black and white, but even the few color plates in the cover give the sense of vibrancy of Kingman's work and vision. And of course, there is William Saroyan, writing his favorite thing, an introduction. Saroyan had written several introductions to art books by this time, most notably Why Art? But here he is at his 1950s best. He looks at New York as no one else does, as no other painter, writer, composer, photographer looks at it. And of course, New York is the world. That's where he is. That's where his looking at the world is steadiest. That's where he goes to sleep and where he wakes up. His appreciation for Dong Kingman was nothing new in 1958. The two had been in correspondence since at least January 20th, 1953, when Kingman wrote to Saroyan about having met in New York. Kingman was living and working in Brooklyn, and Saroyan had been living in Manhattan, often working on his television writing for Omnibus. Saroyan would leave for Malibu, where he would stay for most of the year. Kingman wrote in October of 1953, "I saw a copy of an art book on our friend Fletcher Martin. It is one of the best-looking art books. Congratulations on the introduction." The introduction to Kingman's book seems to have originated from a letter to Saroyan in November of 1954. "Thank you for your letter with an interesting signature. Indeed, it would be an honor if you would write a few lines about me. I will get together some material for you to look at soon." Later in the same letter, "Incidentally, I read that Art Digest article. It's great, it's fun, it's interesting to read. In my opinion, you know more than all the critics put together. There are no letters that appear to specifically address writing the introduction of the book, but it's clear from the piece itself that Kingman was exactly the kind of person Saroyan liked to surround himself with. He's an American, out of China, out of San Francisco. He's a wit. He tells some of the funniest stories anybody has ever told. His eyes twinkle with laughter and affection, for all things, all people. But never for an instant is he far from profound and steadfast earnestness, perhaps even sorrow. Starting in 1955, Kingman started clipping what he considered to be significant articles mentioning Saroyan and sent them to the writer, still living in Malibu at that point. He sent many articles, especially those of Leonard Lyons, famed columnist for the New York Post. The letters trailed off in the 1960s. Saroyan's constant travels meant his replies were few and far between, but they were always full of fondness for Kingman. The last letter we've been able to find, featuring Kingman talking about his upcoming exhibition as a part of the San Antonio Hemisphere, the state's answer to the World's Fair. This would be the largest exhibition of his work in America during his lifetime. Kingman would continue painting remarkable watercolors until his death in 2000. He was renowned not only in the U.S., but across Asia. He was the first American painter honored with an individual exhibition in China following the reinstatement of relations between the U.S. and China. He mentored painters, including two of the best-known painters in Myanmar, Win Pei and Pa U Tet. Though both lived more of their lives outside of San Francisco than in the city itself, both are forever seen as San Francisco legends. Kingman's art and Saroyan's stories show a San Francisco that was gone by the 1970s, and serve forever as a reminder not only of the time and place, but of the feeling of the city that was a little more magical. Thank you for listening to From the Collection of Forever Saroyan. I'm Chris Garcia. See you next week.